The Zenthari Empire had conquered 100 worlds before Earth. To them, humanity was just another primitive race, an inevitable addition to their dominion. Their warships darkened the skies, their forces crushed Earth's defenses within weeks, and their governors prepared to take control. But something was different this time. The humans didn't surrender. They fought back. Not with fleets or planetary defenses, those were annihilated. Instead, they resisted in ways the Empire had never encountered. Guerrilla warfare, sabotage, cyber intrusions, tactics that ignored the rules of traditional conquest. Zenthari soldiers would patrol cities only to vanish into alleyways, their bodies never recovered. Their supply lines collapsed overnight, their communication relays hacked, their generals assassinated in their own war rooms. What should have been a swift occupation became a nightmare. The High Council of the Empire had no patience for prolonged conflict. This was not how wars were fought. This was disorder. And disorder required a precise solution. The Zerzal Elite Assassin Squad was summoned. Their names were whispered in fear across the galaxy. Entire civilizations had fallen, not to invasions, but to their silent blades. They did not wage wars, they ended them. Their mission was simple: decapitate the resistance. Eliminate Earth's remaining leaders, their strategists, their war planners. With no chain of command, humanity would crumble. As the assassins descended onto Earth, moving like shadows in the night, humanity learned of their arrival. Not through direct confrontation. There was no battle, no declaration. Just bodies, important ones, left in rooms locked from the inside. Defense ministers, military commanders, intelligence chiefs, all dead. The war, which had begun with open battle, was now fought in silence. But humanity had one last move. A single, calculated countermeasure. The decision was made behind closed doors, among those who understood that fighting the assassins with conventional forces was impossible. The Zerzal were not soldiers. They could not be tracked, could not be fought as armies were. So, Earth chose something the Empire could never predict. Not an army. Not an elite strike team. Just one man. A ninja. His name was classified. His existence, unknown to all but a handful of Earth's leaders. He had trained in the old ways, a warrior of shadow and silence, but adapted for modern warfare. He had no need for advanced weapons. No need for an army at his back. He was the embodiment of precision, stealth, and the art of death. The moment the assassins stepped onto Earth, they became prey. The Zerzal struck without hesitation. Their methods were flawless: silent entries, unseen kills, and exits that left no trace. Humanity's leadership crumbled within days. Generals were found with their throats slit in secured bunkers. Resistance leaders died in locked rooms, their security systems untouched. The assassins moved like wraiths, guided by telepathic coordination and technology beyond human understanding. Earth's forces tried to adapt, deploying counterintelligence teams, surveillance drones, and even decoys. None of it worked. The assassins could sense deception, reading micro-expressions and biological cues invisible to the human eye. No trap held them. No safe house protected their targets. The resistance collapsed into paranoia. Every leader, every strategist, every brilliant mind keeping Earth's war effort alive knew their days were numbered. Then something changed. The killings slowed. Assassins began to vanish. At first, the Zenthari commanders assumed the humans had finally devised a countermeasure. Perhaps advanced detection technology, or a hidden strike force capable of matching their killers. But there were no reports of gunfights, no traces of battle. Their operatives simply stopped responding. One by one. The first to disappear was Krezak, a veteran of 1,000 kills. His neural beacon, impossible to remove, went dark in an abandoned sector of the city. His team searched the area. They found nothing. No signs of struggle. No blood. Just silence. Then Vexa was next. Her squadmates received a final telepathic surge of confusion and pain before she was gone. No trace, no clue. The hunters began to feel something foreign. Something they had never experienced before. Doubt. The assassins altered their tactics, moving in groups, maintaining constant telepathic communication. Yet it made no difference. The next one died in a secured safe house, surrounded by his squad. One moment, he was standing among them. The next, his lifeless body slumped forward, throat opened. No alarm triggered. No enemy seen. The Zenthari commanders demanded answers. The Zerzal leader, Kareth, analyzed the pattern. The deaths were surgical, precise. The work of a single entity. Impossible. No race had ever matched them in the art of silent killing. No species could hunt them as they hunted others. Yet, it was happening. The assassins, trained to be the embodiment of fear, were now the ones looking over their shoulders. Their own instincts betrayed them. Every sound became a threat. Every shadow a possible death. Kareth made the call. Their mission was compromised. The remaining assassins would regroup, retreat, and reassess. They would adapt. That was the way of the Zerzal. But as they moved to escape, they realized something terrifying. There was no way out. The assassins abandoned their mission. Survival became the priority. They activated emergency extraction beacons, but no response came. Their secure frequencies had been compromised. Every attempt to send distress signals ended in silence. The realization was chilling. Whoever was hunting them had access to their own technology. Kareth ordered a full retreat. They needed to regroup, re-establish communication with the fleet. But the moment they moved, another one died. Jekries, the youngest of their squad, was severed from their telepathic link mid-step. The others turned, weapons drawn, scanning the darkness. His body was there, but his head was missing. No sound. No warning. Panic set in. The Zerzal, feared across the galaxy, were breaking. They abandoned stealth, moving openly, watching every angle. But it didn't matter. One by one, they kept vanishing. Their cloaking fields, their superior vision, their predictive combat algorithms, useless. Their enemy was not fighting by any rules they understood. Kareth forced his remaining assassins into a secure stronghold, a fallback location known only to their unit. Reinforced walls, automated defenses, full surveillance coverage. No one had ever infiltrated it. If they could hold position, they could analyze the threat, find a way to counter it. Then the lights went out. Not just the artificial ones. Every sensor, every scanning device, every augmented vision system, all of it failed. Even their telepathic communication flickered, as if something was interfering with the very signals in their brains. The fear was complete. Kareth activated his personal defense field, energy blades ignited, his every muscle coiled for an attack. But no attack came. Instead, the room filled with something worse. Silence. Pure, absolute silence. No breathing from his squadmates. No movement. Kareth turned, and in the darkness, he saw them, his own assassins, standing motionless. Eyes wide, unblinking. Their bodies still upright, their weapons still in hand. But they were dead. All of them. He was the last one left. And then, finally, he heard it. The only sound in the void. A whisper, spoken in a language he did not understand, yet somehow knew exactly what it meant. You were never the hunter. And the darkness moved. The battle was over. Karetha's mind was clouded with fading clarity. The last remnants of his life, his memories, his victories, his reign over the galaxy, slipped through his fingers like sand. His body, no longer able to sustain itself, collapsed, and his vision blurred. The ninja stood above him, silent as the grave, an enigma that had unraveled the terror the Zerzal had spread across countless worlds. Kareth had underestimated humanity. He thought Earth's people were weak, primitive, easy prey for an empire that had devoured planets without a second thought. He had believed his squad, the finest assassins in the galaxy, would obliterate Earth's resistance, its leaders, and its hope. They were supposed to be invincible. But they weren't prepared for this. The ninja's weapon was not one of overwhelming strength or futuristic technology. It was something far simpler, far older, an ancient skill, honed through years of discipline, precision, and a mind that could anticipate the impossible. The Zerzal had come expecting to destroy, but they had been dismantled by a human who had embraced the art of death in ways no one could predict. Karetha's breath faltered. He had no time left, no time to process the complete collapse of everything he had known. His final thought wasn't one of vengeance or regret. It was fear. Fear of humanity. fear of what they had created in their desperation. The ninja wasn't finished. As Karetha's mind spiraled into darkness, the human stood tall, looking down at the body of the once feared Zerzal commander. He had done what no army could. And now, the final message was sent. A signal, encrypted with precision, reached the highest command of the Zenthari fleet, like a bullet piercing the heart of the Empire. The message was simple. You sent assassins. We sent one. The fleet, thousands of ships poised for the final crushing blow, hesitated. They had never known fear like this. The reputation of the Zerzal was beyond measure, and yet here on Earth, a single warrior had torn them apart. The Zenthari knew their superiority had been shattered. The human race had done what no one could have imagined. They had fought back, not with armies or technology, but with a single, focused will. The hesitation lasted seconds, but in the vast emptiness of space, it was enough. The Zenthari commanders, leaders of an empire that had thought itself invincible, exchanged silent looks. The fleet began to retreat, slowly at first, then with greater urgency. On Earth, the ninja disappeared as quietly as he had arrived. He left no mark, no trace of his presence. He was a ghost in the wind, a myth made real. The war had ended, but the message was clear. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The Zenthari Empire, with all its might, had learned a painful lesson. One human, against all odds, had shattered their plans and sent them running. The terror they had hoped to sow on Earth had instead turned back on them, revealing a simple truth. In the face of unimaginable odds, humanity was capable of things no empire could ever comprehend. And that was the last thing the Zenthari ever heard from Earth.